Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts. We begin in the Northwest Territories, where police have charged 2 Alberta men after a shooting that injured 3 people in Fort Smith over the weekend. Jessica Davy-Quantick has our top story tonight.
It happened in the early hours of Saturday morning as patrons were leaving Dirty O'Fergie's bar in Fort Smith. NWT RCMP said they've charged one man from Edmonton who discharged bear spray, and Sheldon Tan of Calgary, who fired a gun into the crowd. The shooting kicked off a manhunt that went on into Sunday morning, with the community in lockdown for over 13 hours. Fort Smith Mayor Dana Ferguson is calling on her community to step up and help police. She's already given her statement as an eyewitness to the shooting.
It doesn't end here. Please go speak to the RCMP, because without testimony, without evidence, the RCMP can't capture these guys. They can't make cases and they can't arrest them.
3 people were injured and are being treated. Police say as of Monday they were stable and expected to recover, but described one victim as having life-altering injuries. Tan has also been charged with possession of a controlled substance for the purpose of trafficking and possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000.
I don't think it's isolated to the community of Fort Smith. I think across Canada, we are experiencing increased drugs to those who are susceptible or in active addiction.
Ferguson said what could help the most is money from any level of government to support people in addiction. For now, she's proud of her community for their strength and resiliency. Jessica Davy-Quantick, CBC News, Yellowknife.
In Nunavut, a 2027 trial date has been set for the former CEO of the Manitoba Inuit Association, who is facing a sexual assault charge. Nastanya Mullen appeared virtually in an Iqaluit courtroom on Monday to schedule the trial. He's accused of sexual assault that allegedly took place in Iqaluit in 2023. After the allegations became public, Mullen was removed from his position as head of Manitoba's largest Inuit association. The allegations prompted more people to come forward with claims against him, a movement that was later dubbed Inuit Me Too. Mullen's jury trial is scheduled for March. A Yellowknife woman says she's lost faith in the NWT healthcare system after spending thousands to get a diagnosis in Alberta. Mary Rose Blackduck spent 6 months looking for answers about her health issues in the Northwest Territories and was told she was healthy and just needed sleeping pills. But as the CBC's Saloni Bugra reports, Blackduck actually had a deadly disease.
I knew I was in trouble.
This Yellowknife resident and former Cleacho broadcaster for CKLB Radio and CBC North says her health issues started last fall, from muscle cramps and weakness to falling, breaking her foot, and the right side of her body nearly becoming paralyzed. But after 5 visits to various clinics in Yellowknife, she says doctors told her she was healthy and prescribed her sleeping pills.
So he gave me sleeping pills. And that is when I lost confidence and I lost faith in our medical community here in Yellowknife and right across the Northwest Territories.
She spent $6,000 on flights and hotels to see a doctor in Edmonton. Doctors there told her she had a deadly nervous system disease called amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or ALS.
My mind had completely went blank and I went into a shock. And shock is a good thing, because with shock, you can function. You can think logically. This is what you have, and there's no cure for it.
Soon, she won't be able to talk, move, or even breathe. The life expectancy for the disease is about 2 to 5 years.
Pretty soon, I won't be able to talk anymore. I'm gonna need some help with breathing, so I'm gonna need some oxygen and then feeding tubes, wheelchairs. I won't be able to move, not even my fingers. Everything will just be a complete vegetable. I dread the time when I have to face it.
NWT health authorities say diagnosing ALS can be difficult as symptoms vary and there isn't a definitive test. The territory does not have a neurologist to diagnose people with ALS and does not track cases either. Authorities say that's because there is no funding for neurology as a core service. As for Black Duck, she's giving away her belongings before she leaves her home to move to Alberta for medical attention.
I am relieved to find out what disease I have. I'm also grateful for the time that I have now, so I can sort out my affairs.
The Territory's Health Department says patients can reach out to ALS Canada or ALS Society of Alberta for support. Saloni Bugra, CBC News, Yellowknife.
U.S. President Donald Trump is making new threats against Canada following Mark Carney's decision to walk away from trade talks between the two countries. We'll hear from Northern leaders about how this will affect the territories in just a moment. But first, Kate McKenna tells us how the political fight is getting personal.
The trade war between Canada and the U.S. is once again heating up.
It's not a surprise for us that the U.S. would take some form of reprisal to our response to their unjustified tariff.
On Monday, President Donald Trump upped the ante again, threatening to raise auto tariffs from 25%, saying on January 1st, 2027, tariffs on all cars, trucks, both large and small, automotive parts and steel will be increased to 50%. We don't need Canada, they need us. Another shockwave for the already struggling auto sector.
We're seeing production across North America come down. Exports are falling. We needed to get to some sort of a solution.
Ontario's premier declared war, saying Canada needs to be ready to punch back with everything it's got, including withholding energy exports. He threw in some quotable insults aimed at the president.
I have a lot of real estate on my ass, so he has a lot of room to kiss my ass.
But midway through Doug Ford's afternoon news conference, Donald Trump posted about him, saying lots of bluster from Doug Ford, who is the premier of the Canadian province of Ontario, but who is better known as the less charismatic, intelligent, and overall unimpressive brother of the late, great Rob Ford. He called the Prime Minister Governor Carney and said someone should get these clowns to fall in line or the consequences for Canada will be far worse.
I've been in this game a lot longer than he has. I got skin on me like an alligator. And you think an insult from him hurts me? Well, bring it on, buddy. I'm ready.
But with fresh 50% tariffs, looming Canadian retaliation, and Trump's latest threat, the road ahead could be long. Carney says he's willing to go back to the table under the right circumstances.
Look, when the Americans go to the negotiation table first with the right attitude towards our industries and a true partnership, of course we'll come to the negotiating table.
Canada hasn't announced the details of its retaliation package, but the Prime Minister says it's set to take effect on September 8th. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
Yukon's premier says a big part of the U.S. trade war comes down to ensuring Canada's sovereignty. His comments come on the heels of what he calls economic attacks on Canada. Dana Hatherley has that part of the story.
We don't need to be pushed around.
Shoppers at the fruit market in Whitehorse agreed with Yukon Premier Curry Dixon. Keeping Canada a sovereign country remains at the heart of the U.S. trade war. During an interview with CBC, Dixon says U.S. President Donald Trump's threats need to be taken seriously. It's Dixon's first public statement since trade talks broke down late Friday night. The Premier fully supports Prime Minister Mark Carney's decision to call off negotiations with the U.S. Despite what Carney calls Canada's good faith, he says the two sides couldn't reach a deal. The Prime Minister says Canada pushed for long-term partnerships, but Trump's side sought short-term transactions. Yukon's Premier says Carney briefed provincial and territorial leaders on Saturday.
We'll learn more about the impact, but I'll just say this. I mean, the individual tariffs don't impact the Yukon as much as other jurisdictions. However, we're all going to feel the pain if our economy begins to struggle. And by all accounts, a trade war like this is going to cause significant economic hardship across our economy, across our country. And so Yukoners, Yukon businesses, Yukon workers should anticipate a rocky road ahead, even though the fact that, despite the fact that we're relatively less dependent on the United States than other provinces, we're still going to feel the impact of this economic war and the struggling economy across the country.
Dixon says the U.S. made threats to Canada's sovereignty at the very last minute. He says the American administration sought to influence Canadian trade negotiations with other countries and tried to chip away at Canada's protections around language and culture. Dana Hatherley, CBC News, Whitehorse.
And it's not just the Yukon that's worried about these effects. Businesses in Yellowknife could soon be paying more for everything from building materials to everyday goods. Yellowknife Chamber of Commerce President Mark Henry says tariffs imposed on goods crossing the border can ripple all the way north.
When we speak to local contractors who build buildings, homes, they give out their pricing, and there's uncertainty about future pricing, whether the prices that they're giving are going to be held into the future when they're actually executed. So things like that. Talking to food suppliers, there's lots of uncertainty about produce coming in from the States, how that will be affected. A lot of it is going to be tied to how the federal government designs their counter tariffs. And I suspect things like food are going to be protected. They don't want to drive inflation, so it's going to be a targeted approach, is what we're hearing. But right now, uncertainty is where we're at.
Henry says many Yellowknife businesses are already operating with tight margins and have limited ability to absorb another increase in their costs. He says government should consider targeted support for northern businesses and ensure the territory's unique transportation and supply chain challenges are reflected in Canada's response. An e-scooter collision in Whitehorse 3 weeks ago has Yukon government leaders and city officials looking at changes to the use of those kinds of transportation. The crash shocked the community and raised important questions. TJ Deere looks at the rules governing e-scooters as their use rises, across the country.
They're not an uncommon sight in Whitehorse, and earlier this month, tragedy struck. For the first time in the Yukon, someone died when a vehicle struck two children riding an e-scooter at this intersection. A memorial was held last week for the 12-year-old girl. A 13-year-old girl was recently released from hospital in Vancouver. The RCMP says an investigation is ongoing and isn't proceeding with a criminal investigation right now. The crash is raising the question, how are e-scooters governed in the Yukon? Turns out, this is it. A City of Whitehorse bylaw saying riders must wear a helmet, avoid roads and sidewalks, and stick to certain trails and bike lanes. People in Whitehorse want to see children under 16 banned from riding e-scooters. One person suggested registering them like cars. Another said riders should have to take lessons, like new drivers do. The territory's top doctor says government officials should consider these ideas, but he says changing road design would make the biggest difference.
Some of the best road designs I've ever seen for safety keep big, heavy things away from small, fast, light things, right? So you keep your cars and your trucks on one side of the road, you keep your bikes and your scooters and your things on the other side of the road, and there's lanes for those things, but you've decided already to kind of physically separate them, which reduces the risk that they're going to come into contact.
Changes to roads and that kind of infrastructure is very slow. And not quick in response. And so I think that should definitely be part of the longer plan. But the reality is that is not going to happen as quickly as I think we need some more safety measures put in place.
White suggested a public conversation or an education campaign, something Dr. Ranaday says he would entertain. But a national advocacy organization says improving roads is a good idea.
Research shows us that is the most impactful thing we can do. Design safer roads, lower speed limits, enforce those laws, and just create safer environments for people to move in.
In a statement, Highways and Public Works Minister Linda Benoit says it's too soon to say what the Yukon government is doing. But Whitehorse's mayor says the city will discuss this with them and the Mounties.
It's a shared responsibility. We've got a lot in place right now with our bylaw, but there's more that we believe can be done, whether it's our bylaw, whether it's territorial legislation or regulations. That's for us to kind of hammer out and figure out over the long term.
The Yukon's chief coroner told CBC News that the crash earlier this month is on their radar, but that it's too early to say if an inquest will be called. TJ Deere, CBC News, Whitehorse.
A number of teacher positions in the Yukon remain vacant as students return to class this week. The Yukon Association of Education Professionals says rural schools are hit the hardest. The association's president says principals asked for and got staffing numbers early, which gives them time to fill empty positions. But she says the Yukon government moved teachers around late in the year, which affects vacancy rates.
There are always unexpected things that happen over the summer, and it does have a bumping impact because a lot of times it'll be a teacher from one school who wants to have the experience at another school, and then that creates a vacancy in their school. And eventually, where do you pull from when we're in a community such as the Yukon?
Burridge says there has been a commitment from the Yukon Minister of Education to work on a recruitment and retention strategy for teachers. CBC asked the Yukon government for the vacancy rate, but did not hear back by deadline. The village of Haines Junction, Yukon, is saying goodbye to its old community hall. The building was a gathering place and landmark for decades, but it's been closed for years now, and it's finally being torn down. The CBC's Bruce Dela Cruz reports.
Over 60 years worth of history is being demolished behind me. The Shackwack Hall was built in the 1960s, but was closed in the mid-2010s due to safety concerns. But in its heyday, it was the hub of its community.
And all the wedding stuff that you've seen, my sisters all decorated the hall.
That's lovely.
Hugely decorated the hall.
Josephine Boyle has lived in Haines Junction for 40 years. She remembers when the hall was still in its prime.
Everything was functional in there. The hall was functional, the pool was functional, the curling rink. In 1987, I got married in that hall, so some great memories in there. The hall part is gone now, and the curling rink is gone now. So now he's on to where the pool is sitting, so.
Boyle says she and other community members were devastated when officials closed the hall and attached curling rink in 2015. That was later followed by the closure of the pool and the rest of the building.
It was a little shocking because you weren't really prepared for that. It was like, we can't use the whole hall anymore? Like, oh, so where do we go?
Wade Ischenko is the MLA for Kluwani. He says his family was involved with the hall since the beginning, and that it showed the importance of having a place in the village where people could come together.
The community needs places to gather for dinners, for sad times and happy times. And if you don't have those spaces, you know, that you have to realize also that, you know, communities always grow, and they're going to grow, and we grow slowly, which is great. So we need spaces to do things in.
Newer residents to Haines Junction may have missed out on the Shackwack experience, but they hope the space will be put to good use in the future.
I'd like to see a swimming pool. I'd also like to see a rec center there, which I think we really need in the community because there is a growing number of younger people here with younger kids.
Boyle also hopes something eventually replaces the hall. She's sad to see the building go, but says it's also a chance to reflect and remember.
We've lost our old community hall, but that memory will always live in our head and our hearts and share with everybody that has. And we have so many good laugh times in there and so many sad times too, but we move on and create new memories with our new place.
The demolition is set to wrap up by mid-September. The village of Haines Junction says that after that's done, the lot will be filled in. There are no immediate plans to develop it. Bruce Dela Cruz, CBC News, Haines Junction.
An excavator has been successfully removed from Pontoon Lake in the NWT. It was the second piece of machinery that ended up in the water within a week. Officials say they hope it's the last time an accident occurs at that site. The excavator had been partially submerged in the lake from August 14th until its removal last Friday. It fell in after an embankment slumped. A dump truck also fell in the lake earlier in the week due to slumping. The NWT's Department of Infrastructure says the work was tricky due to the narrow section of the Ingram Trail. The team was trying to widen it and install guardrails. The department says public safety is top priority.
All teams, they are working together, ECC, which is Environment and Climate Change people, DFO, They visited the site and they are continuously working with us to make sure that these reports, whatever it's coming, it's there. And overall, the team, they work together, and the aim is here to provide them better, safer highway, and that's where the target is.
Residents have voiced concerns around water quality since the incidents. Yadav says there's no indication of a spill happening in either case. He says tests showed no contamination. A man from Montreal made a special trip to the north to see some lesser-known paintings by an iconic Canadian artist. Jocelyn Chappelle has his story.
John Bennett says the paintings hold a special meaning for him. The Montreal resident has traveled to Yellowknife to see paintings by A.Y. Jackson. Jackson was a member of the Canadian collective of painters known as the Group of Seven. They formed in the 1920s and became famous for their depictions of Canadian scenes. John Bennett says his father arranged trips to the north for Jackson so he could depict its landscape. The two men eventually became friends.
This was almost like private. Most of the art critics don't know anything about these periods. And occasionally you'll see coming up in an auction catalog one of these from the trip, and the auction houses know absolutely nothing about it. They don't even know where it was.
Jackson's work in the north is lesser known. He produced the bulk of the work in the 1950s. Bennett says after his father passed, he began researching and documenting these trips. Now, years later, he's nearing the end of a project that'll lay out this period of the artist's work.
But that's also turned into finding out other information about these trips and where the paintings are. And so I've written a history of the background of all of this. Part of this is doing an inventory of where all the other ones are.
In Yellowknife, 10 of Jackson's oil pieces are on permanent display in the NWT Legislative Assembly, and 11 pieces are at the Prince of Wales Northern Heritage Centre. An art advisor assisting Bennett with the project says they are in the final stages of putting a book together.
Perhaps from sharing that, you might uncover people who own canvases that we didn't know exist, sketches that we didn't know exist, or people...
Or were connected to the trips up there in some way.
There may be other people who, other families who have, who are up there, who have an interest similar to John's, and might be able to connect with the material once it's available. But these days, so much of the raw material that has been accumulated, be it by museums or by private individuals, is not accessible. So I think by producing something from this and sharing something from that, we might in return...
I'll pull it all together, yeah.
Both are considering the possibility of an exhibition as well. After seeing the works in Yellowknife, Bennett and Klinkoff agreed it was a full circle moment for them. And a joy to see that they are being preserved and displayed. Jocelyn Chappelle at CBC News, Yellowknife.
Hunters from Iqaluit and Sunny Rayak have successfully caught their allotted bowhead whales. As Liam Britton reports, it's a big deal for communities that value food security and independence.
This is a thrilling day here on the waters of Frobisher Bay, where hunters from Iqaluit have captured a bowhead whale. It is being harvested on a nearby island, and we're going to go check it out.
The hunters set out just over a week ago. Day one saw them spot the quarry. But despite the half-dozen hunting boats converging at speed, no dice. But days later, the hunters emerged victorious, and a CBC crew went to see the prize. At an island at Kalmarvik Territorial Park, we saw the hunters and others carve up the carcass. Wielding a knife on a stick and a hook, they pulled off pieces of flesh about the size of couch cushions into their boats. And this isn't the only community feeling cetacean jubilation. Hunters from Sanarayak, a hamlet on the mainland, hauled in a bowhead of their own last week.
The hunters were overjoyed when the whale died. The community had a feast and dance Friday night.
Back on shore in Iqaluit, the whale is already feeding many. Grateful, Iqaluit bagged up phone book-sized chunks of muktuk, free to all who crave it.
It feeds the whole community, and some cannot afford food.
Daniel Nuialia with the Hunters and Trappers Association is happy knowing that people will be fed.
It's a lot of fun. Get to see people together, gather.
He said these hunts give him feelings of pride and independence, even if some Southerners might not understand the hunt's importance.
Like how they eat from the restaurant, they eat fast food, they get it from the farm. Like us, we get it here, it's not processed meat.
And so here is the catch that's created so much excitement and anticipation in this community. It's something that will not only feed Nunavummiut in this area, but also bring them together, an entire community. So this is a huge accomplishment for these hunters and something this community is going to savor for a long time. Liam Britton, CBC News, Iqaluit.
And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. Thank you for watching. We leave you tonight with moments from this weekend's $150,000 hand games tournament at the Hatton Gathering in Yellowknife. The Yellowknife Dene First Nation posted all 10 winners on social media today, with Team Gary Simpson coming out on top. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a good night.